Hi, Portchester students and families. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about Google Meet. And basically in this video, we will cover two different things. We will give you a quick introduction to Google Meet, and then we will discuss how to navigate between class pages. So first, we'll talk a little bit about getting to know Google Meet. If you do have one of the district Chromebooks, the way to get to Google Meet is to load up Google Chrome from the bottom of the page. And when you click that icon, it will bring you into the Google Chrome browser. And here in the top right corner, you're going to look for these 9 dots. And these 9 dots are sometimes called the waffle. But basically, when you click the 9 dots here, we are actually going to look for the icon that says Google Classroom. I know that there's an icon here that says Google Meet, and I know that that's what we're talking about in this video, but the way that we're going to be accessing our Google Meets this school year is through Google Classroom. So here you'll click into Google Classroom, and that will bring you to a page that has all of the teachers here. So here, if you look for the page with the teacher whose Meet you want to join, you would find their name inside this classroom page and you would click into it. Once you click into that page, it'll put you in the stream of Google Classroom. And in that area, you'll actually see the Meet link right in the top of the page in most cases. And the other place that you can find the Meet link is by clicking over to the Classwork tab, and there will also be a link at the top of the page there that says Google Meet. If you do happen to click the link before the teacher, you'll get a message that looks like this, and it says, if you're joining a meeting from Google Classroom, wait for your teacher to join and then refresh the page. So if you do happen to get this error message, it means that you're trying to join the Google Meet before the teacher loaded it. So if that is the case, there's a couple of different options that you have. You can either close out the tab and go back to Google Classroom, or you could refresh the page through the button at the top or by pressing the reload button. But here I would not press the button that says return to home screen, only because that will bring you to a different page and you actually would have to close the tab anyway. So here I would go in and reload the page or try the link again from Google Classroom. Once you do get into the link, Google Meet will look like this. And in this page, you might notice this bar in the bottom of the screen, and you might also see classmates' pictures and videos popping up here. But what you'll notice as you're on the Google Meet is that sometimes this bar at the bottom of the screen actually disappears. So if that does happen to you, what you'll have to do is bring your mouse or bring the trackpad down to the bottom of your screen and hover it over that bottom area to bring that bar back up. And on the bar here, there's a couple of buttons that I would like to talk about. So I'll start first with the microphone button. If the microphone button is red like this, that means that the microphone is muted. And that means that your teacher or classmates will not be able to hear anything that you say or anything that's happening in the background noise in your house. So if you do click that icon, it will turn white. That means that your microphone is now on, and that means that the people in the video call would be able to hear what you say and would be able to hear any other noises going on in your house. So that microphone button is there. The other thing that I want to mention with the microphone button is on the keyboard, you can actually press Control and then press the letter D. And when you do that, it will turn your microphone either on or off. You don't have to hold it down, but you just have to hold down the Control button and press the letter D. And then once you let go, that will have turned the microphone on or off. So that's a good keyboard shortcut if you think it might help you with managing your microphone. The other thing to mention is that Google Meet is a video chat software, so it will be using the camera on the Chromebook, which is located on the top of the screen here. And basically, this other icon at the bottom of the page is the camera icon. So similar to the microphone icon, if that icon is white, it means that the camera is on, but if that icon turns red, it means that the camera is off. And the other thing here is, just like we had a keyboard shortcut for the microphone, there is also a keyboard shortcut for the camera. So if you were to press Control E, that would turn your camera on or off. So that's another keyboard shortcut to try to help you with that. The other thing is that your picture or your video is kind of hidden in the top right-hand corner here. So you might not see yourself in the grid with all of your classmates, but if you do look in the top right-hand corner, you will be able to see what your classmates are seeing, and that can help you identify what they're seeing from behind you in your background or making sure that you are inside of that picture frame. So that's in the top corner over there. The other thing to mention in this top corner is this little chat area. So if you were to click that icon, that would load up this chat area in the side of your screen. And sometimes your teachers might put something in the chat for you to access, or sometimes your teachers might ask you to type into the chat. Now, teachers can also control the chat, so they might turn the chat off at times, but I did want to mention that it is accessible through the top right-hand corner there to be able to get to that chat area. And once you're done with the chat, you can press that X, and when you do that, it'll close the chat away. The other thing that I'll mention here is this Present Now button. Now, in most cases, your teachers will probably not ask you to present your screen. However, there might be times where your teacher does ask you to share your screen so they can see what you were working on or so they can see something that's going on your computer. So if that's the case, you can click this Present Now button, and there's a couple of different options here. But what's probably easiest if you're sharing your screen with your teacher is you can click Share Your Entire Screen. And if your teacher were to want you to share your screen, they'd probably walk through the steps, but it's most likely that they would ask you to share your entire screen, so I just wanted to mention that here. The other thing to mention is that you will probably see videos and pictures of all different classmates from your class in this video chat. And I know that sometimes that can be a little bit distracting when there's a lot of people on the call. So I did want to mention a trick that might help you narrow in on one person, probably the speaker. So if you found that having everybody on your video call was a little bit distracting, what you could do is you can look for the name of your teacher and you can look for this little push pin button. So if you put your mouse over their picture, this might pop up and you would be able to see this push pin button. And if you clicked that, it would actually make their picture bigger. So if you wanted to be able to see what the teacher was working on a little bit bigger, you could click that push pin button. But what will happen is if your teacher does go to share their screen, you won't be able to see it because you have their video larger at this moment. So if that's the case, what you could do is go in and press unpin and make it smaller again. So this is something with the pin and unpin that does take a little bit of getting used to, but it's something that I wanted to mention here in case that is helpful for the Google Meets that you're attending. And the other thing to mention with Google Meet is that you will hear the teacher talking or perhaps your classmates talking from your Chromebook. And on the very top of your Chromebook's keyboard, there are these volume keys. So if you find that it's a little bit too loud or a little bit too quiet, you can adjust that with the volume keys here. And the last thing that I will mention in this video is that it is likely that you are going to be attending Google Meets from different teachers, which means that you're going to have to navigate between different class pages. So here, if you were already in a Google Meet with your teacher and you needed to go to a different teacher's Google Meet, what you could do is press the X on the Google Meet tab to close out that Google Meet. And when you do that, it'll put you back into your Google Classroom if you still have it open. And in the top left-hand side over here, there are these three lines, and sometimes teachers call that the hamburger. But basically, when you click those three lines, it'll bring out the bar over here. And in this area, you'll actually see the Google Classrooms for the other classes that you're enrolled in. So you could click to your next class in the side over there. But the other thing that you could do is you can always go back to this classes page in the top. And when you do that, you'll be able to see all of the classes that you're enrolled in. And from there, you could still click into that class and then join the next teacher's Google Meet. So that is how to get to Google Meets from different classes. And obviously it's important to pay attention to your schedule to know what time you would be attending those classes to be able to meet with those teachers during that time. So that was just a quick overview of Google Meet and how to use some of the tools within Google Meet, as well as how to navigate between Google Meets with different teachers. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found the information helpful, and be sure to stay tuned to our school website, portchesterschools.org, for any other new parent videos that we release or information on any upcoming virtual or in-person parent workshops that we're offering.